So hello everybody and welcome back to Friendly Fox's YouTube channel with another episode of OpenTTD. And this episode is titled Big Changes. So in this episode we are looking here at our original coal mining operation from the coal mine near Frindingbury to the power station. But unfortunately our engines are past their prime. They've now reached their top age of 28 years. And so we are going to replace them with more modern engines. We're going to build Jinty engines to replace them. Also, our other engine over here is this one's going to be sold off first. It's going to make one more delivery. It's almost fully loaded. Here we go. So it'll make one more delivery to the power station over here at Farnpool and then head down to Netton depot to be sold off. And so what's going to happen now is this engine, the long boiler, which still has another 7 years of life left in it, is going to run both runs. It's going to run to Farnpool power station and to Netton. So here we go. Now going to make its last delivery. It made its last delivery and now it's on its way to the depot down here at Netton. And there we go. Engine has completed its last run for us. Now we sold it for £255. It's most likely gone to a museum. Or to scrap, whichever way you want to look at it. So the other thing we're going to do now. So this engine is now running exclusively on this line. And after its next delivery, we're going to replace these smaller wagons, which only carry 6 tons of coal, with the ones from the other train, which carry 10. Okay, so now we'll just take the wagons out, put these on, and send it back out. And then we can sell these wagons off. And now the train will actually carry more coal to its destination. Which is a good thing, because this coal mine produces a significant amount of it. And also, this is a new line which we constructed. So, this is our other coal train operating from Frindingbury, which still has another 10 years of life left in it. It runs down to the power station still, the original station, but now continues on around this loop, servicing at this depot when it needs to. And so, train 4 is now free. So I'm going to introduce a goods train to operate between the factory and the new terminus down here at Brundinghall. which we build a new station over here at this factory, which is serviced by our competing company with a steel train from Farnpool. From Farnpool. So we build a goods station here, freight station, length of 4. So we're just waiting for some new faster engines to become available, which is the 440 Edwardian, which will run our express trains on this line, which goes all the way down to Easthampton with a through platform. In the meantime, there's a passenger service from here, Brundinghall, over to the nearby city of Setbridge, where there is a tramp steamer operation which goes on to the nearest big city of Setbridge, which is going to receive a second dock. Because over here there is another bigger city which we are already serving with a horse and cart operation. So we're going with the Friedrich paddle steamer, which is quite a big vessel. It's going to take the role of ship 9, which we no longer need to run on the Wedgwood to Watford operation. And it's quite a fair distance to Setbridge. We're going to have to build a buoy here somewhere. There we are. So a buoy works as a waypoint for ships. And there's a lot of passengers waiting here, so this will be fully loaded when it goes. And off she goes. Okay, and so now we've done all that, we're going to replace these aging steam engines with modern variants. Also sell off the older brake van because it limits the train speed to 40 miles an hour. But then again, I think the wagons have a top speed of 40 anyway. So it's just to prepare for the future when faster wagons become available. So we're going to build the 060 Jinty to take over this train's duties and make the length. No, it has to be 3.9. Okay. There we go. So our first new tank engine, the Jinty, is running on our very first operation. We'll do the same with this one. Once it's made its delivery, it will go to the depot and stop and wait for us to do that. I'm going to have to put in an order to we're going to have to refit this because I forgot to do it when we created it. We want this exclusively as a goods train. Here we are. So our competing companies very nicely started serving this nearby farm with their horses and carts. So that when that makes a delivery, that will get added onto our goods train, which goes down to Brundinghall. And our new ship has just arrived at Setbridge Woods and made £51,000 for us. So there were no passengers waiting because this was a brand new stop. So rather than send it back empty, I'm going to send it back to Setbridge Woods and it will pick up some passengers to take back with it. Ideally, we want to take at least 50 passengers back. 42. I'd say that's close enough. At least it's not going back empty. In the meantime, there are a lot of passengers waiting here at Setbridge, which cannot all fit on this ship. The Lampwick steamer only takes 250 passengers each. There are 2 of them serving this dock, but the third rail has just become available, albeit only with a tube set. But that is going to take passengers from Setbridge over here to the nearby city of Frindingfield, which we have an OK rating with, as we did a little earthwork just to improve the sailing time of our tramp steamers sailing past the town. Okay, so we're going to build it here. Just a single platform for the time being will be sufficient. And there we go. We have our very first third rail operation. We just have to build a bridge. Of course, we want it so that the train can service from either direction. And the gate tube is what we're going to build. And just for aesthetic purposes, we'll put in a buffer stop at either end. Seems we lost our good rating with Setbridge, regrettably, but that's what happens when you do a lot of work, unfortunately. Also, I guess they wanted to build some houses there, so oh well. And coming in to make its first delivery at Frindingfield. And now running back empty to pick up another load. And now we're going to build our very first local services to operate on our new line. And we're going to go with the 442 Suburban for this job. I just put these crossings in for aesthetic purposes. They don't really have any use for the time being. The other engine that's past its prime, or coming very close to retirement, is Easthampton. Is this Crampton engine, which has been operating for quite some time now, from Easthampton to Erdington. So this is going to be its last journey there, and then it will head back to Easthampton Depot for retirement. Okay, so we are constructing a passing loop here, halfway between Erdington and Garnford here. Which will follow with a new station platform here and new track work. Of course, I want a platform length of 4 because that's how long our new trains are. So I think what we're going to have to do is demolish this house, unfortunately, just to make the extra room for it. Okay. Now this track's no longer in use, we can remove it. We'll sort out Erdington station in due course. I just need to put the orders back in for it to head back to its destination. Okay, so we've done all that. You'll notice in the new century the clerestory wagons have a new, the clerestory carriages that is, have a new look. Fully loaded with passengers and now on its way to the next station stop of Sleffield. And here comes our fully loaded goods train. I'm going to create a clone of this engine. And we just replaced the last of our Coppernobs. So now that engine's underway to the coal mine. And welcome to the year 1905. And so the other thing we have to do now is build a new station for Erdington, because the current station isn't big enough. And there we go. Erdington now has a new terminus station. The only other thing we need to do now is amend the track so that it connects up. Okay. So now we got that out of the way, we can create another train, and this one will start from Easthampton. Just as soon as our goods train moves out of the way. Of course, this comes from the sawmill over just south of Easthampton. Okay, and now it's time to sell off our Crampton, which has served us well ever since it was introduced, with on our very first shuttle passenger service. £300. I'd like to think it went to a museum, a good home. The 6-wheel carriages, in the meantime, we are going to keep just in case we build another passenger train with them. In the meantime, train 8 has no allocation now, so I'm going to build another Jinty, or actually I'll build an 042 tank, which is going to take this coal train from Nintfield over to the power station here at Brundinghall. So this is unfortunate, as I was going to serve this coal mine, but regrettably it's just closed down on us. It's a real shame, because it was optimally located for such a service. But then again, seeing as I've built this, I'll just leave it in situ, and once we have enough money, we can fund a coal mine. However, it's incredibly expensive. It's about £9 million, and by the time we can afford it, it will probably be £10 million. But just something to keep in mind for the future. And in the meantime, train 39, which was previously the Nintfield train, now has no allocation. So I'm going to build another passenger train to operate from this end at Brundinghall. Slefborough sounds oh, okay. I was going to say it sounds familiar. I know where it is. It's down here, where our very first boat operation started with the coal mine, producing an excessive amount of coal at the time. Quite an elaborate junction here. I decided to introduce a passenger service between Newfield and on our old line at Hendington here. The old platform was abandoned here at Slefborough and a new platform put in for a junction for the train to Guston. 2 trains of which regularly service the line. This one's just waiting for access to the main line. So down here we're just checking on our operations down at Jenham. Of course, as well as Flufingford here. This is presently where the 4-track of our main line ends, and it will remain this way until I find somewhere to send the other trains, either quadruple tracking the line through to Langley and down to this here junction, in the meantime. This is an operation which we're going to be doing. Previously, our competing company had horses and carts running between this iron ore mine and steel mill nearby here at Henton, which is now served by industrial tank engine. Presently we have our healthy coal operation going on here at Henton, but we're going to run an iron ore train to the steel mill to aid with the production of steel, because right now it's only producing approximately 50 tonnes per month, even with our competing company providing iron ore to it. So the iron ore is going to come from this iron ore mine at Plathatton, which right now is a poor producer, but apparently the production will climb up. Facing the wrong direction. So I'm putting in a temporary depot here just so we can start running our iron ore trains. The 440 Edwardian is now available, which we can use for express goods trains as well as passenger trains. For now, I think I'll build a Jinty to take the iron ore. And then it will service at this depot and head back to the iron ore mine. And I will build a clone of it, which will start from this end. No point sending it to service because I just built it. And all I need to do now is put in a connection to our existing track. And so, as noted, the 440 Edwardian is now available, so we're going to build our very first express trains for this line. So now the waypoints come in somewhat useful. And then these trains will run non-stop to Guston. And the 262 Prairie just became available, so we're going to trial that. That is going to be running our steel trains. Here we go. So we're going to let the express train go first, and then the local service will follow behind it. And I'll go to the other end of the line at Guston and build a clone. Of course, this train's waiting because of something's going on here. Oh, I realise I forgot to put in a signal there for the coal train. That's what's holding up all these others. I think we'll have this train go straight through to Nintfield. In fact, as the train's empty, we can just have it run all the way through to Erdington? No, Easthampton. And the other thing our competing company did as well, Jenham Transport, they had horses and carts running a very long route down from this, taking excess coal down from this coal mine at Albertborough up past Fladingstone to the power station. Now it's a train route. Also, they have a barge taking coal over to Albertborough power station. Previously they had two, now just one. Anyway, we are going to retreat down to Henton here and build our steel trains with the 262 Prairie steam tanks, which just became available. Forgot to refit it. That's what you have to do. Wanted to route through Runfield, down to Fort Pedtown Factory, then route through Runfield Crossing, and service at the depot here where it started. So eventually an iron ore train will come in from our station. I'm just going to send it on its way because it's over half loaded, and also it's blocking the main line for the other trains. And also we can remove this temporary depot which we constructed to build our very first train for the service. In the meantime, I'll go down to Fort Pedtown, construct a clone, which I'll let go shortly, and we're going to build another 440 Edwardian, and this one is going to be an express goods train using the siphon vans which just became available. Which allows them to have a top speed of 75 miles per hour. Fort Pedtown Factory here is already serviced by our competitor with a similar run to our other competing company, Jenham Transport. This one being Sutton Transport. They're running a service from Pundworth Farm over to the factory, so that will start loading up this train. And then our steel trains, when they arrive, will help them load up even faster. So the train's going to use the slow track as far as Chuntfield Woods and then switch over to the fast line through Jenham down to Langley, and then head back via the fast line as far as Brundinghall. We'll have the trains route through Chuntfield to make sure they can get back to where they started from. And there we go. So we're checking on train 51. For some reason it hasn't even started loading yet, I guess because the competing company hasn't delivered the iron ore. There's our iron ore train, just making delivery. I realise why this isn't loading now. I forgot to refit it to goods. Silly me. Oh dear, I think that's our iron ore mine. I didn't get to serve it quick enough. That's unfortunate. So I'm just going to keep train 52 in there for the time being, because we'll need to find another provider of iron ore for this steel mill. In the meantime, there's only enough iron ore coming in for one train. Then again, I did put in this section of track here which allows it to wait, so I'll do that. And there we go, our goods train is now slowly starting to load up. As more deliveries come in from our competing company, it will load up quicker, as well as our steel train when it arrives. Okay, so I'll just check in on the iron ore train. Yeah, so that's only partially loaded. We'll send it on with what it's got. In the meantime, I'll have to see if I can find another iron ore mine close by. So this isn't really close by, this is down at Hooham, however it isn't too far away from our existing line. So all I'll have to do is build an extension of our track to reach this iron ore mine, and also it can double as a coal mine if we decide to take over this operation in future. Okay, so that should suffice in the meantime. So I just need to find train 47. Of course, it's I sent this onto the depot, so now it's going to have to turn around somewhere. There is, in fact, a turnaround track ahead, assuming this is this is approaching Jenham, so we can actually send it to this iron ore mine now. Okay, and I'm just going to put in a manual turnaround here. So now our iron ore trains will go down to the iron ore mine at Hooham. We can remove, so we can remove the track and junction here, which I'd built for this iron ore mine. That's really unfortunate, but it's a part of the game. Not a lot you can really do about it. I'll just leave this track in situ for the time being because it could come in useful later. Now I'll find this train's twin. Train 48 here. So it did actually make its delivery, okay. So send this train down to the new iron ore mine station as well. Want it to service in the depot, not stop. So here comes another delivery of iron ore from our competing company, which will help to load up our train, steel train that is. Oops. I was just trying to get rid of that radio thing. Our iron ore train is now underway, and the second one is waiting for access to the mine. That's loaded enough for the time being. I'll just send it on because this train's waiting. And now this train will be waiting for its load of steel to take to the factory. Amazingly, without even a delivery of steel, our goods train is now underway. Unfortunately, another problem's developed is now we've run out of platforms here for our coal trains, so I'm building an extra platform for it. The problem, we had 3 trains waiting to come in, and all of them 3 trains wanting to use the 2 platforms, and the only exit track that one could use was blocked. So that's part of the issue with having bidirectional workings like that. In fact, I think the thing we could do is just make this single way, because this track has access to these 2 platforms. So that will reduce the in fact, it should seriously reduce the amount of gridlocks happening. And our new goods train has just arrived with its delivery to Langley. nice, healthy, speedy delivery. Now I'm going to go back to the factory and build a second train. Our steel train is on the way, so that will seriously help with the loading the goods train. And there's a whole delivery lot of grain and steel coming from this farm as well. So each delivery from our competing company loads the train about 2 or 3% at a time. And of course, now that we have our supply line open with steel, that should help a great deal. Here comes the steel train now. Of course, it's not fully loaded, but close enough. And now here comes our steel train for another delivery. Now that that train's underway, we can let train 53 go back to load up on goods as well. And we already have another steel train on the way. And so just to finish off this episode, I'm going to send train 6 here with the 040 industrial tank into the depot and replace the engine with an 060 tram, which travels ever so slightly faster. And we'll also add some extra wagons to this train, just so it will transport more coal and subsequently make us more money. Because the original UKRS set with the tram engine had a cute bell instead of had a bell sound instead of a whistle on it, but never mind. So with that, that marks the end of this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and there will be more from me soon.